So let me just go ahead and give them a message as I start my day over or whatever. And I was guided to give these, in a sense, of religious, governmental, official, historical, and no longer holding back just to make sure that these quote unquote government officials, religious people in these positions, or whatever, just looking to justify someone's lie and predatory behavior versus them honoring what it is that they're supposed to have been doing in the first place, but them choosing not to do it. So the first thing that ended up hitting me was like, well, let's talk about history, and then most of the time some of these places on a religious aspect, when it comes to it, mostly Christianity and Catholicism, right? They have always honored and upheld the history when it came to Queen Elizabeth, right? So I was like, well, shit. To me, for a long time, even as a little girl, I used to think Queen Elizabeth was that bitch. I ain't even gonna hold you. She was that woman. But however, it was a method to her madness. And a lot of people through history, what type of history that y'all getting versus the history that I did like a long time ago. I did it on my history paper, but I didn't go truly in depth about it. So with Queen Elizabeth, the method to her madness was, as the queen, she knew with marriage that would mean that there would be a threat to the crown. That was one. Two, she already knew with her being in the line of royalty what was going to happen. I'm going to end up, like, if I marry someone, it's the loss of money. There's a capability that the strategies that needs to be done is not going to be done because, she got a chance over time just to watch the mannerisms and the upkeep of certain men. So what was in history that Queen Elizabeth had huge ties to? Priests, hierophants. So that means all churches. She also had access to all governmental or her warriors, generals, people military, right? She had ties to all the people that are supposed to be the trustees or the advisors, right? She also had the keys to, certain people that were meant to run particular parts when it came to her royalty, her crown, or her home, right? So what do you think she get the chance to do? I get to study every single move, even their darkest sins and secrets, right? So in her history, Queen Elizabeth was that bitch was like, shit, half of them when they go to war, what were they doing in wartime? Shit, you can go back and watch Sparta. You can sit there, go do the history. So whenever they was gone for all these 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 months, or 3 years at a time, they're not really seeing women because they always on the battlefield, right? So her logic was, shit, if you always on the battlefield, then they coming back. Of course, they gonna want a woman, but 10 times out of 10, what they doing? They messing with other men. So not only was she seeing that every single time that some of these people was messing with other men, Queen Elizabeth already knew what was up when it came to it. So, right, a lot of history, when I started doing my digging a long time ago, you know what I came across? Queen Elizabeth was fucking on the priest of the Catholic Church. Because she had Catholic Church and she had the Christianity Church in the palm of her hand. She used to rule them. But what is the priest of, or a priest or a pope or a hierophant held to what regard when it comes to the church? They made a vow that they're not to speak on anything that you confess. Hence, being why a lot of people become Catholic. Because once you go, Father, I have a confession, right? That pope or priest or whoever it is that you send in that confession to, they're not their vow is to, quote unquote, God or the Most High, divine, not to tell a soul about that. So I'm gonna lead to how the Catholic Church is brought up, but it's gonna go right back to Queen Elizabeth though. So when it comes to it, they make a vow like, Father, let me make my confession. Okay, he's not able to talk to any of his popes, his monks, the nuns, none of that, right? So when you go hit a boom, Catholic Church, The head nun is usually a woman that end up born a child before she was converted to a nun. The rest of the other nuns that usually come in, which are the younger ones, are which are committed to be having to revert, or they have to be virgins in order to be a nun. But usually the head nun, or usually the Saint Mary, which most of the time you're not going to get too many Saint Marys, because guess what? What is the priest held to? What is that higher nun held to? You think that Pope gonna say that I was fucking on this bitch on the low? Hell no. This shit been going on for fucking go like thousands of fucking years, like thousands of years. So when you go back, Queen Elizabeth, basically she had her share of whoever the fuck she wanted, due to the simple fact because she knew the capabilities, whether it was she had to call in people to do her divination, whether she had advisors, whether she had to use Catholic priests, Christian priests, whether she had to use bishops. It didn't matter. She had her hands to all of these people, right? So whenever it came to her having to deal with certain churches, because right now, I can tell you right now, it's a Catholic motherfucker right now running a motherfucking mouth to the ground, justifying your bullshit, and then how for you to carry a fucking heavy ass vow to carry on these predatory ass bullshit. I'm fit to shut this shit right the fuck down. The only fucking true people really holding clean to the religion and why they money keep growing. Everybody want to blame a Jew. No, the Jews actually are standing firm to what it is that they're supposed to do. Shit, the Quran or anybody Arabic or Muslim, the only practice for them was to marry four wives. Because why? What is the statistical in the factual religious or actual population rated as? There's 4 women to 1 man. So that was the only way for the Muslim, Quran, Islamic practice to keep the balance whenever it came to their religious practice and what they stood for them to, right? So whenever you go, let's break it down to the Protestants, the Orthodox, and the rest of these Nathaniels, okay? So reason being why a lot of people don't fucking honor fucking Mormons have been the ones that still carry on the pedophilia of the century, which pedophilia was accepted in royalty time because shit, if you got the prince or the king that they can't control them and you married to a king, guess what's gonna happen? It ain't shit that you can really do, because if you don't want to give up your crown, and especially sometimes it was some women that was lucky, which y'all remember that movie Aladdin, was lucky to only get up into those crown positions, because guess what? During war times, that's like Vikings and all that shit. When it came to them getting these crowns, they were like, I ain't gonna lose my crown due to the simple fact that my king do not know how to control himself. And mind you, the queen done had all these damn kids for this man, but he's still desiring other young kids in his village. You see? So when it came to like I said, to the Catholic Church, Christian Church, shit, Queen Elizabeth would be fucking the shit out of them damn popes, them priests, some of them motherfuckers, but the only ones that wouldn't get there was the ones that you will always see with the I forgot the name of them, but the shaved in the middle of their head. Those were the only ones that was untouched. But then it would just be like when plague times happen, that's when, like right now, this like COVID was the plague time. So these were the plague time for a lot of people right now in this current time, up to current. It's plague time, right? So these are motherfuckers taking full advantage that they religious in their aspect. That's why you got to go to a rabbi. That's why you got to go through certain situations for you to become a Catholic and shit like that. Because I used to think that was crazy. I thought it was just like you could just convert if you choose to convert, right? But no, in order to become a Catholic, you have to do certain things. You got to read certain things. Then you got to get your communion, and then you can get, baptized. And then, that's when you can become Catholic and start, going to their masses and stuff. You can't just be a Christian and be like, hey, I want to be a Catholic now. And I was like, I learned that shit, 2008 when I learned that shit. So when it came to it, I was sitting here, I was like, damn, Shrita, you know what? These are motherfuckers sitting here on the board with half of these motherfuckers sitting on this advisory, consulting, and all this other shit on the board. I said, shit, looking at them alone, you can see the energy and the fucking demons attached to them, right? So it's just like, all right, so if y'all call yourself being these advisors and consult, why the fuck you sitting there going ahead and trying to help motherfucking predators that is sitting there fucking with people innocent that actually could be sitting on y'all fucking board advising y'all so y'all can do a little bit fucking better, whether you gonna do the shit or not. It doesn't fucking matter. But for you to go ahead and try to justify something or a so-called practice that you feel is so fucking evil, but you sitting there participating in it on the low for the benefit for the cash. You see? So then it's just like, when they would sit here, I was just like, girl, why would you have to go all the way back to Queen Elizabeth's time? Because Queen Elizabeth's time was the only fucking time in history, but she's been the only woman in all fucking history to be able to have that access. Because when it comes to, if y'all remember watching that movie, was it The Last Exorcist or some shit like that? You remember when he went to the Pope? Even when the Pope or the priest is getting ready to die, they are not able to confess anything. 10 times out of 10, they're going to die of heart failure. If it's not heart failure, it's going to be aneurysms. If it's not aneurysms, it's breathing complications. If it's not one of those three, it's usually because, hey, they are no longer able to keep carrying the burden, which they have a right to ask for euthanization, or they just ask to let go, right? So when it comes to all this shit, this is like a motherfucker that's probably Catholic and shit like that. Well, I'm gonna watch her stuff, but I'm gonna taunt her and I'm gonna harass her. Like, motherfucker, if you gonna be a motherfucker harasser, be a bold little motherfucker and do that shit in somebody's fucking face. Indirect shit, that don't work for nobody. Cause shit, I was like I said, Queen Elizabeth, she did that shit in your motherfucking face. So you can know at the same time it was discreet, but discretion goes away whenever you sit there and you give away certain things and information about people, or when she felt that they were starting to abuse the power, it was like shit. Certain of them, that was like a point of it in history where certain popes, priests, hierophants would get euthanized because when she felt that they was betraying them, instead of just saying like they, because they did something against their vows, they would get euthanized. So a lot of people don't be fucking knowing that. I do. So Vatican secrets, man. Fuck all that secret shit. Everything been a secret until it's fucking not. And then it's like, oh, that is so disrespectful. It ain't disrespectful, it's the truth. So that's the reason being why, like, if you go back through history, right? Who are the people who had carried the history, if not the ancestry books of those in the transatlantic slavery? The Orthodox, the Protestant people, okay? And a lot of people don't want to sit there and acknowledge it's like it's levels to a lot of this shit that a lot of people do. And even half of these motherfuckers, not even history schools, not even fucking college. You could be so fucking in depth and they be sitting there like it's somebody real fucking in depth. It's like she ain't lying though. And then with the fact that these motherfuckers know that I'm not motherfucking lying about it, it's like, oh, okay. But now the question is, but how do you know this stuff? But how do you know this stuff? It's not like about how the fuck you know this stuff. It's like basic fucking research, common sense, which I gotta understand. My common sense is not the next motherfucker's common sense. But then it's just like these will be people trying to abuse people because they feel people are naive to the practices. So that's why I tell people, if you don't sit there and take the chance to be well rounded in certain things, how else do you expect for people to sit there and respect what it is that you're doing? Shit, like I said, Jewish people, and then China. China really holds really dear to their shit. Because, you know what I'm saying, China's been the only one really solid and stable in their shit. They may not have like the strength and everything else like that, but China really been holding on to their shit. But Japan and Korea, shit, for the dollar, motherfucking hell, they gonna get their money now. That's one thing I can tell you about motherfucking Japan and motherfucking Korea. They gonna get their motherfucking money. But, when you sit there and start talking about Shaolins, when you sitting there talking about Taoism, and stuff like that, it's certain people that when they put them in these positions, right, you have to understand they will protect those people by all means. If it means that they are not supposed to be touched, if that means that they're not supposed to be disturbed, if that means that they're not supposed to have certain contacts because they need to go ahead and do their practices and shit like that, they're not going to be fucked with. India, they corrupted that shit maybe over 1,000 years ago. Whenever they took advantage of that shit, that's why it's like Indian people are cool. Like I love, like, when it comes to like they festivals and shit like that. But I always been fucking very, very so fucking mindful about how fucking low down and conniving a motherfucking person from India is able to get the fuck down. Like most of the time, like shit, Asia, like let's say Southern Asia, Korea, China, Japan, they thorough, they're efficient. But then when you hit like India and shit like that, they'll do some fucking low down conniving ass shit. But they take advantage of most of the time. If I really have to be real honest right now, India really fucking feel like they got the fucking keys to the goddamn streets and feel like when it comes to Americans, oh, I can get really close to white Americans, and with them doing that, they sitting there still using the years before even all we talk about Egyptian history, we talk about Roman Greek history and shit like that. But one part of the history we don't really talk about because a lot of fucking religions are not too versed or well known to talk about it. But if you go to fucking India, I'll be like, oh, I'm Shank, and they'll be like, hold up, which Shank are you? So because with Shank, that shit can go far fucking left, or you could be the one like, hey, I'm trying to abide by it type shit, right? Hence being why they always love to do fucking arranged marriages, right? But there's no real fucking like balance to that shit. But 10 times out of 10, if a motherfucker getting down, they doing computer hacking, they lying, they stealing, they doing prostitution and all this, they doing that shank shit and it's going far left. You know what I'm saying? But then these would be fucking people. It's like, look, why would you sit here and try to throw fucking religions when a person like shit, all I had fucking do is time to know what it is. And then the blessing and the fucking curse at the same time. Shit, I didn't have my share of experience to meeting these people, asking them about their fucking religion and all this other stuff. That's why when it comes to it, you can tell who's gonna do the dirty shit to you. You can tell who they gonna use to try to justify the bullshit. Like even in the fucking military, it ain't no goddamn difference. These will be people that just still try to do this because it's like I said, when I had looked on my time feed, because like right now they felt like shutting down where I have to update to show what it is that I'm watching, because they felt like, oh, well, shit, on her YouTube channel, she could tell that we are the ones still watching her over here. It's somebody from fucking Cuba right now watching my shit like, okay, well, she ain't gonna know this. And okay, why am I seeing everything from fucking Cuba on my, on my other feeds? Why is everything from Japan over here? Because it's like, it's a motherfucker really trying to elaborate a fucking plan. Like, well, if we could get them to go to Japan, we can go ahead and do this. 10 times out of 10, Japan is a traffic city. Korea, if you're not in the right place and you're not military, you're going to get fucking traffic. If you hit India and you out there by yourself, they going to take fucking full advantage. Egypt, shit, if you're a black person and you dark skinned like me, oh, they fit the traffic the fuck out of you. If not, abuse the fuck out of you. If not, they gonna sell your ass around that motherfucking country in fucking Africa, and they're not going to fucking find you. Why? Did we forget what? Maybe about 12 years ago, wasn't they keeping hostage a lot of fucking people from Sudan? When they getting fucking people from Libya and shit like that, like this shit be fucking beyond me. Like, okay, yeah, I love to travel all day, but shit, ain't nobody gonna be fucking stupid at the same time if you still pulling the same shit. And I'm over here in fucking Florida, like, bruh, that don't make no fucking difference of like, oh, well, we're gonna use our street thugs and we're gonna use our vanguard people from our things like that. Like this shit, this is literally how they was able to elaborately make the execution of plans whenever they wanted to do this shit when it comes to DCS, CPS, sheriff departments, hotel results and resorts and stuff like that. Like they will do all this shit. Like there's no, like, say you go to the casino, right? But unbeknownst to you, you didn't know you had an inheritance, you didn't know you had a trust fund, you didn't know you had home properties, right? But they get an inkling that you're starting, like now, since we're in the digital era. Back then would be, you'll just go to the courthouse and be like, hey, do I have any unclaimed funds? Do I have this or whatever? That right there would be enough for when these systems, aka stock market people, owners, right? Or, whatever in your state, whoever's the person that's usually running it and running the fact that, they taking this shit from you. It's like, damn, let me look up this person's name again. Oh shit, they got this type of money. So, of course, it got real fucking elaborate. Back then, a lot of people weren't too versed with the stock market. They wasn't known about that, right? Me, I used to do my history based on a lot of shit off of Bloomberg. What did Bloomberg used to do? Shit, astronomy, astrology, NASA, TV media, He had a lot of stuff in the entertainment system. He had a lot of shit with the oil companies. He had a lot of shit when it comes to the metal companies. Like when it comes to fucking Bloomberg, you not fit to sit here and tell me shit about what the fuck I know. I've been studying that shit since I was in the goddamn third grade. I'll be motherfucking damned if you gonna sit there and try to play some stupid shit just because you got a fucking PhD. Shit equivalent to what the shit I study and know how this shit work in and out. Like I'm telling you, it be priests and popes out here where y'all be sitting here like, oh, they're married, or some of them would have to refuse because in order to become a Catholic priest, you cannot be married. Or it'll be people literally getting divorced, but it's like they got kids and shit like that. Sometimes y'all be sitting there thinking these motherfuckers is they nieces and nephews. No, them to be they motherfucking kids. So it's just like most of the time, why is the reason why you see certain people end up trying to shoot priests and popes and all these people at these motherfucking Catholic church too? Why? Because when they was sitting there being, the little people that carry the candles and shit, they used to get raped. But then guess what? You need to make sure you come do this. And then the popes and priests of these Catholic church used to have the leeway, especially they knew with the women, they can get the women to like commit to it and conform to it, especially if it's like, oh, I'm Catholic and I'm very firm to it. These be the dumbass, bobo ass bitches. That's why some of these men used to be back in the day, especially like I used to watch this shit and be around when it came to, before Marion died on, Georgetta's sister, before she got her set up and killed. I used to see her and then, talking about how, go to Little Italy, you'll see the Italians and shit like that. Any Italian man, is she Catholic? That if they ever ask you the first thing, is she Catholic? They know for a fucking fact, okay, yeah, she ain't too versed, she ain't, you know what I'm saying? They know how that parent raised that girl. So it's certain shit that they're not really exposed to, or they could have, depending on if they went to the school and shit like that. It just been on the behavior and shit like that. And when they would utilize this shit, some of these, dudes come up, they fucked up, and then especially if they grew up Catholic, but they stopped going for years and shit like that, and then they end up strung out on drugs, alcoholics, or they end up getting into the dark world. So that's why when this motherfucker's going in like, oh, priest, I need to make a confession, the pope or the priest, hence, that's why a lot of fucking people running around here talking about, oh, I'm a high priest. If you around here talking about you a high priest, this bitch go sit the fuck down. Don't be on the motherfucking tarot land talking about you motherfucking a high priestess. No, the fuck you're not. No, you're not. Priestess cannot tell a soul about anything that came to her, regardless if somebody came to me and said, oh, I got a reading, and I'm using that as an example. You have now denounced your priestesshood. You now have degraded yourself and downloaded yourself. You're not even a hierophant. You're not even you're a hermit. You just somebody that know how to read. 10 times out of 10, they used to call that gypsy because you're supposed to hold the keys to it, or a Daphne or a prophetess, right? Prophetess, you can predict what the hell is going to happen due to the simple fact of the behaviors. Most of the time, even in Catholic religion or any other religion, you not know that a prophetess was useful in every fucking thing? Evangelists and anything else that you hear, deacons, bishops, they were not really paid attention to, especially black ones. If you ever notice, if you go onto a priestess board or a Catholic board, or even on just on a religious board, how many black people you gonna see on there? One. Nothing more, nothing less. It wouldn't matter if he's African American, black, African, or a part of the diaspora. You're black. You gotta, like, somebody don't process that fucking shit. And then with that going on and shit like that, they never really in history, especially Protestants, and when they got Protestant people on the board, they got Orthodox people on the fucking board and shit like that, they're not acknowledging in the opinion of the person that is from the diaspora or black or African, their word is not really taken for fucking bond. And then it was just like, I was like, cool, I'm gonna allow these people to do this. But like, it's no different when people be like, oh, well, why don't you Yahweh? And I was like, do you understand? Black Jews is really fucking disregarded. They don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about you talking about Yahweh said this. And you not know how many fucking times in the fucking day that y'all get fucking disrespected. Oh, well, the blacks this and the black. They don't give a fuck about this. How many times do we have to go back in history of 1492? because they seen anything that came from the diaspora. If you came from fucking Haiti, Dominican, aka Hispaniola, if you came from fucking Hispaniola, if you came from Dutch, Irish blood, if you came from anything of Asia, anything other than a fucking English, British, Dutch person, you were not considered shit. Spain became useful because they liked their strategy, especially when it came to their royal lines. But the only reason why your royal lines in Spain had got back in order, because guess what? When it came to fucking Spain and Spain's bloodline, they had to fuck on each other. Meaning sister and brother, depending on which sister and brother it was, they had to do that. That's why they had that long ass, sharp ass jawlines. Like, it's people right now that's out here crackhead and all this other shit that if they really fucking want to step up, it's half of these motherfuckers where I'll tell you, I don't give a fuck where you came in. If you Puerto Rican, you this, you that, and you call yourself, you swear up and down you fucking Spain, I'm gonna tell you if you really a fucking Spaniard or not. They have eugenics. They have fucking type of things, even to this current day, that you can sit there and say, yes, you are actually of a royal bloodline. You don't have to do initiation or anything, because now with the technology we have, with the drop of your blood, they will know if you are a part of those royal bloodlines. Hence being, if you go all the way back, how did Jesus and all the rest of them get their water, right? So it's certain things, whenever they started fucking with my water, I noticed that it was like, damn, Sharita, you could see a lot of shit a lot more clearly. But it was like, either they're putting something arsenic, or they're putting something that's causing the water to get very, very, very dry, or it's something that they're causing it to cause a poisonous reaction. But however, if they wanted to go ahead and figure that shit out, I said, shit, flip the DNA. And then if it's causing a uproar at this shit, here you are, a reincarnate. Because all they're doing is mixing the same fucking chemicals to go ahead to amplify whatever the fuck ability that the person has, or quote unquote what they say do not have, but they actually do fucking have. And then they sit here trying to figure out, well, why they didn't die from this and why they didn't die from this, where it's still certain things in genetic codes before, after Christ, before Christ, and before his existence, is certain things that they used to eat or take on when it comes to royalty, that even up to this current day of 2025, okay, Jesus' existence 2025 years ago, right, that it will still take full effect, that regardless of what you do to that food, those water, whatever type of source it is that that person needs, all you're doing is amplifying beauty. Because then they used to use certain things during beauty regimens. Then they use certain things to do this for foods. Then they have to do this for certain things. Now here we are, right? These are certain fucking people that be sitting here really feeling like, oh, well, we got this. Okay, you're just basing it off the technology you have currently. You base it in certain methods, methodologies, and theologies from what you have learned from the 1950s and 60s, but you're not digging all the way fucking further back than that. That shit be fucking beyond me. But someone was like, to give these little motherfuckers a dumbass, small little intro to the history lesson of what they is, but somebody not understanding, with them sitting here justifying somebody else's bullshit, that they got to be fully fucking aware of the punishment and the harsh crimes. Because with this plague opening that was taking place from 2020, and it actually ends at the end of this year, right? So meaning, that's the purpose of Manifesto 2025, right? There's literally, it has used to be a cycle of them doing certain things for like, it's usually 7 years, unless it's like really being found out, or they felt people wouldn't figure out exactly how they was doing it. Then of course they could get away with that. But with the fact that you can figure out the ins and outs and how they set this shit up, guess what? It's too easy to figure out exactly what's the next move. You will literally have to know the time cycles, or the time lapse cycles. You will also have to understand the lunar, the solar, the not eclipse, but solstice trackers. You will have to understand, I think it's called Hijari calendars. You will have to understand that. And if you don't understand all of those, and there's still other things that I'm not gonna fucking mention because it's gonna be a motherfucker trying to look and feel like they know something, and it's like, no, this shit is levels to this shit. It's literally levels to this motherfucking shit. But the balance of how that shit playing out, that's where people go like, I can't be married with no man and he got 4 wives. Okay, if you don't get Arabic, Islamic practices and shit like that, then you a stupid motherfucker. But reason being, when it comes to it, brotherhoods and other people taking advantage of it, see the difference between if you had to go look at the actual original Islamic, Arabic, Muslim practice people versus these black motherfuckers, they don't treat their women right. They're doing that shit just to be like, oh, I got 4 fucking wives and stuff like that. Like, it's levels to that because, like, the brotherhood ain't even how the brotherhood used to be. Like, they used to really fucking look out for their people. But now that shit is just, it's just that. But then when some of them are still clean and strong to it, but it's still a little fucked up though. But the order for it was literally 4 women to 1 man to keep the balance. That's where it's like, it'll be white people sitting here, oh, well, we're here and we praise the motherfucker. If you don't understand all fucking religions across the board, you a racist bitch. Period, point blank. Ain't no nothing. If I can talk to you and you can't tell me nothing about that religion right off the motherfucking stream, I can tell you straight up to your motherfucking face, you a racist motherfucker. Especially if they're not open minded to really like understand, or they not asking you to like understand, like, well, can you explain it to me or whatever? Like, any person not willing to come to you, man or fucking woman, to ask you like, what is your belief or what is your practice? Or sometimes they only have to come to you. It's like, well, can you at least, can you explain to me, how does it work for you? When they can ask you shit like that, just know for a pure fucking fact that is a person really opening themselves. First of all, before you even start explaining anything, what's your practice? What is your belief? What is your religion? And then you go from there. If they can't name those 3 things to you, just trust and believe they just trying to come to you to try to manipulate the fucking situation from you. But then this is also certain people too. When they come in to look at it, it's still like a form of manipulation, especially when they've been the main fucking predators, but they expect for you to not know what predatory behavior that they taking on towards you. You know what I'm saying? So some of y'all just be mindful. That's why when I was sitting there having to address, I was like, well, let me go post this on the community board. I guarantee ain't nobody gonna like that motherfucking shit, because it's like, well, I thought she was addressing the so-called family and stuff like that. Shit, I can address whatever the fuck I want, but just know at the same time, I'm addressing y'all motherfuckers that feel like we're either bureaucrats, we're aristocrats. We're going to keep trying to bully and punk this person. We're still going to pay people in her fucking neighborhood to do this. Really? Make sure you guys is that you keep your blinds cracked so she can just think that y'all just need to understand it ain't ever no fucking coincidence when certain people are doing particular things around you. Okay? Trust and believe that. Because it's like, for me, I lost my motherfucking faith to trust in Indian people, even though I used to feel like the practice was pretty fucking dope. I mean, well, I wouldn't say the practice. I would say just, the clothes and the colors. Like, I thought that shit was pretty dope. But until I figured out how dirty them motherfuckers could be, it was just like, all right, you cool to converse with, but y'all motherfuckers still be doing dirty shit. So, shit, it was just like, a dirty motherfucker when you see one. So it's just like, it's no different than when you have to figure out like, oh, so y'all all of a sudden friends and shit like that. Like you could tell when a motherfucker's just doing some dirty shit. And in my experience and what I've been seeing over the years, these motherfuckers be people that just do dirty shit all day long. Like, oh, they're not gonna figure this out. They're not gonna know about this. But then when you figure it out, it's like, okay, change 50,000 to number 2. Okay, we doing change 50,000 to number 2. Why we gotta do change 50,000 to number 2 for what? Well, the little fucker caught on to what the fuck we was doing next. Because right now, me sitting there seeing Pam Bondi, I'm like, why the fuck would Pam Bondi be on that shit? Wasn't I already addressing Florida? And it's like, well, we gotta look for a reason to have probable cause to do what it is, but we already allowed somebody to come in her house in May to try to come poison the damn girl. It's like, let's not forget that. Let's not forget that you had to pay all these people, including the ones staying behind me, still listening via the bathroom. This is a motherfucker that would literally sit in their motherfucking bathroom and listen to the whole motherfucking conversation as of right now. It's also somebody that the white lady supposed to have already moved. Like, mind you, I didn't see her get her enterprise moving company truck to go ahead and do this. But mind you, how's you was able to afford all this shit and then you just lose your job and now you moving, but then you come back. But then it was like I said, it was a person that came out of our house that I know for a fact didn't live there, stay there, nothing. Then it was a Spanish female, a little heavy set Spanish female that came on a little carts or whatever that the maintenance people use. And I was like, oh, because I say they keep playing. I know the name of the account that they was using to pay these people over here. Oh, I got a picture of that shit. Because the thing of it was, you know how like certain condos, apartments and like that, and they have like computer places for you to use the computers. On the computer, because I was sitting there just making sure I cleared out the cache and shit like that. On their computer, and I already fucking screenshotted it on these hoes, was the name of these motherfuckers that lived in fucking Orlando, but they were from Puerto Rico, that had opened up an account and had a fucking contract with these people. I was like, Shrita, don't open up this, whatever. You just needed the names of these fucking people who did this. And I was like, girl, just roll with it. So that at that point, that's how I already been knew whenever it came Sandy, Jeff, the people all they had hired at the front office. And then it was like, when a person's being overly too fucking nice, like, oh, this and that, and then, oh, you do this, I should come. And it's like, nah, motherfucker, I don't even fuck with y'all like that. So it's always been a pattern about how they wanted to try to handle the situation, that it got so fucking repetitive that it just like, sure, just ignore these fucking people. But they want to talk, allow them to talk, because that's them wasting the fucking oxygen in their body, not the fucking other way around. Like, you listen to a fucking person, allow them to fucking run their mouth and talk and shit. 10 times out of 10, they gonna run their fucking mouth enough for you to know what it is. Shit, you want to know a person's intention? Shit, just shut up. You can listen to them all the fucking way, and you know the fucking intention. But for these motherfuckers trying to do this shit with the Liberty Board all of a sudden, since when y'all want to do that and then advertise that shit on YouTube? That was a bold fucking move. And then it's like, well, this person's committing blasphemy. They're not this. They're not who. No, y'all just don't want it to be that because it's a black person and y'all wanted a white person to be in that position. You see? Since you would rather have a white, Asian, Indian, biracial ass fucking bitch in that position versus somebody that looked black. Whether they black or not, you would rather have that type of fucking person in position. So it's just like, you just allow motherfuckers to feel like they doing what it is that they doing. That shit don't really fucking matter to me. But these are also the same fucking people that been stealing the fuck out of my money and stuff like that, and been making a living, and then they'll help the person, like say if the family knows that there's something due to the person, these will be some ornery ass people, quote unquote church going motherfuckers, that will sit there and help these motherfuckers to do this shit, long as you make sure you still have these people, make sure they doing harassing. Then when it's no longer harassing, now it's cyberbullying. And then they go from cyberbullying to physically stalking you. They'll go to physically stalking you. Like right now, I can tell you it's about to up to 20 plus people in this fucking neighborhood that they're subleasing. Mind you, they're not on full leases. They're probably just giving them these places that they're paying from one of their campaign accounts, one of their LLCs, one of their little storefront places that they're allowing these people to stay here. And then the other people that did already have leases that live in this area and preserve leaf, they 10 times out of 10 just like cut their rent. Like, yeah, we're going to run the special. You know what? You're going to get like 6 months. But however, if you see this person, you could do this, like we can keep this between us. We don't do this for any of our attendants, but I know that you live close to them and this will give you a big cut because you got kids and stuff like that. These will be motherfuckers that do shit like that. So that's why it's like, well, you know the name of the game when certain people, even in the hood, it'll be a motherfucker that end up, you'd be like, oh shit, everybody else paying about $500-$600. This motherfucker only paying, $20 to $200. Like, how you get that hookup? Shit, it don't take a fucking rocket scientist to figure out either you fucking on somebody, you know something, or you did something. It's only 3 motherfucking ways that shit goes, especially when it comes to the hood or motherfuckers that ain't really have money. And then not most of the time, half of these motherfuckers from there all they do is want to fucking like stunt, show up and shot. Oh, I bought me some Louis Vuitton. I got me a Gucci. It's like, y'all stupid motherfuckers. But you bought a BMW when you was just the last 2 years ago riding in a beater. How the fuck you got that? I ain't seen you working. I ain't seen you do this. Oh, 10 times out of 10, they're going to assume that the motherfucker doing like stripping online, something illegal. And most of the time they are, especially if it was something and then these motherfuckers couldn't keep jobs or they was in and out of motherfucking jail. You can tell. These will be people that are literally looking to justify what the fuck they're doing, and they don't care who the fuck they got to use to fucking do it. But religion, I don't give a fuck if it's Catholic, Christian, any of that shit. They looking to abuse a motherfucking system to justify the bullshit. But I guarantee the Jewish motherfuckers where it was going along with it's like, you know what? Let me sit my ass the fuck down. Certain them Asian motherfuckers, I'm gonna sit this one out, plow. I gotta sit this one out, plow. Shit, if the Egyptian motherfuckers, Israel, all that, if they smart, sit this one the fuck out. Let these motherfuckers take that shit on their own accord. Because it's like, your little dirty secrets don't compare to the secrets if I put it on blast. All it takes is the right fucking person to get there or hear this shit. And they going to sit back for a little bit and they going to observe the behavior. But it requires you to know social microeconomics and social macroeconomics. And if you don't know none of those shits, and it's going to take you a while to fucking really like thoroughly to effectively understand it, they got your ass where the fuck they want you. They going to always have you where the fuck you want. If you don't know sociology, psychology, a little bit of biology, chemistry and shit like that, they got you where the fuck they want you. It's going to fuck with your head because they're going to like, there's no way these people, yes, the fuck it is. You ain't tripping. They want you to believe you tripping so you don't believe what it is that you saying and what you doing and what you speaking about. Because this has been the whole fucking thing where we want her to not believe what she talking about. No motherfucking, I'm going to get my shit one way or a motherfucking other. Regardless of how the fuck this shit going to play out, it's still going to play out either fucking way. Justice is justice to me. I don't have no motherfucking sympathy. Y'all want to fuck with my kids? Bet. Life for a life. Whether you disturb them mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically, a life for a fucking life. And the beauty of that shit, see, I can commit to like just a higher power. See, y'all commit to the motherfucking religious. We're not going to ever be the fucking same. But how you sitting there calling me disrespectful, how the fuck dare you disrespect a fucking religion? Because if I was in a religion, I'm not going to disrespect my motherfucking religion like that. That's called religious abuse when you try to get somebody to conform and submit to the societal norms of whatever they're fucking religious. All Americans are usually fucking Christian. Not all of them. The other ones want to take on the other habits because it's like, ooh, I can have 4 of them instead of 1. Why have 1 nigga when you can have 2? Why have 2 when you can have 3? Why have 3 when you can have motherfucking 4? You see? These are being stupid, ignorant ass motherfuckers. That's why it's like it's certain shit that you just don't do and give certain fucking people to. And then you gave this shit to motherfuckers that was already ignorant when they was coming in. Because I remember shootings for a long time. You know, Bobby come from the country. He ignorant. Why would you talk about a nigga that you know you love him and he fuck with you and he know you get down with it, whatever, but he also know your bitch ass is not as loyal. And then, you sitting here trying to get all your little religious church motherfucker friends over here just for your bitch ass to get fucking embarrassed. The facts are the facts. I don't give a fuck about how I talk. I'm going to get that out. So I got to get bullied or harassed because telling the truth. God forbid you tell the truth on the accusers and abusers. That's called retaliation for telling the truth on you. Shame on you. Don't nobody get more aggressive than a fucking person that know is telling the goddamn truth. You ever notice that? Any person that can really tell the truth on fucking people and people that act like they can be fucking 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, they gonna show you their true fucking colors when they gotta gather a whole group, whole city, town, commission, boards, and all that shit just to go against you because you telling the truth about their ass. Because they don't know how to stand in truth. Just pay attention. I guarantee there's a whole bunch of fucking people in a group right now. Start telling somebody, no, I don't want to do that. Watch their ass start fucking with you. Well, why would you want it? They gonna ask you, well, why? What's going on? Well, you ain't gotta explain shit. You a grown ass man or a grown ass woman. You better man the fuck up. I ain't got shit to fucking explain to you. You gotta understand, y'all the motherfuckers fucked up. Y'all was paying me to do your fucking dirty deeds. And for your dirty shit, I'm paying fucking repercussions and consequences that I don't even know what the fuck this shit is. But I took the money unbeknownst to my motherfucking self with the repercussions and consequences behind it. So guess what? Those people who's gonna be bold enough to be like, nah, I'm good. I don't need the money, or nah, I don't want to do this no more. Y'all finna find yourselves getting fucking harassed. Y'all gonna find yourselves getting stalked, or y'all gonna find yourselves dealing with fucking court cases, or all of a sudden you got beef with motherfucking people you ain't ever had fucking beef with. It's because they feel like you fit the tail. When they feel like your ass fit the tail on their motherfucking ass, or pull out from the bullshit that they already started on their own record versus sitting there telling y'all the real truth behind the bullshit, trust and believe, this would be a lot of motherfuckers sitting here crying here. So how I get out of this? Don't come and bothering me about that shit. And when I was sitting there trying to help y'all little motherfuckers, they said cry now, laugh later. Because it was motherfuckers laughing all this time. And now it's their motherfucking time to motherfucking cry.